Welcome back to the Wild Corner Network. My name is Frank Cash. I'm here with
Rocket Fairhope.
Jack McCormick.
and Coach BD. So, congrats on the win last night against Spanish Fort, and then good luck tonight against Daphne. So, what are your outlook for the season?
Well, last night was a big win. Anytime you can play a team ranked number 5 in the state in 2 classifications ahead of you and come out on top, it's always a good measuring stick to kind of see where you are, where you want to go, but more importantly, things that you can improve on throughout the season. It's like I told the girls before we started this tournament, win, lose, draw. At the end of the day, we're 0-0 in area play, and we'll have a lot of things that we can work on and a lot of things to look at that we've done well and see what needs to happen next.
That's all right. So, how does the area play work? Is that the same as basketball, where like the non-area games are first, and then later in the season you'll go to all region play, or how does that work?
Well, the way the schedule is put together, you'll play each team twice. Bayside, Orange Beach, Satsuma, and UMS Wright make up the 4A Area 1 for soccer. But we have games mixed in between, non-area and area games, and it really just depends and it's predicated upon when you can, get a game schedule.
Mm-hmm. So, what inspired you to be a coach here at St. Michael's? This is going to be your second season with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Correct?
Second year here at St. Michael's on the women's side, second year ever coaching women. I don't necessarily know that I was inspired to be a coach. Always grew up, playing, and then with my teams, I was the captain of the team and just, always kind of took charge and leadership and felt like people look up to you. But I originally got my first gig cutting my teeth at Central Tuscaloosa as an assistant and just kind of learning that system and then progressing from there, coaching club. And then when I moved back from Tuscaloosa down here, coaching club soccer and Bay Minette and over on the Eastern Shore and then Mobile, and then coaching high school on the boys' side at Robertsdale. And spent a few years there. Then when I was done, I took a break for 10 years, as I had a junior and a freshman here at St. Michael's, spend time with them. And, the opportunity arose again. I was thinking, why not? Not so much as an investment in coaching, but a part of service to the parish, to the archdiocese, to the school. How can I give back and how can I help is really what I look at. And to be honest, if I wasn't coaching here at St. Michael, I wouldn't coach at all.
That's all right. Thank you so much.
You're
All right,
welcome.
Coach BD, I got 2 questions. The first one was, what advice do you have for young female players who aspire to pursue soccer at college level or beyond?
Well, the thing that I would tell anyone is, be yourself. If you have something that you want to do and if that's part of God's plan, then let him direct you and put you on that path.
Right.
The advice I would have is, the standard, you probably need to play club. It's where you can work on your skills in the off season, and then when you come back and play high school. But more importantly, at the end of the day, it's going to be academics. A lot of people chase the, I want to get a scholarship. So what is a scholarship? Is it a certain amount of percentage? It's 14 divided up by 20-something people on the field. Is it books? But my biggest advice is academics first. Because if you can punch your ticket with academics, you bring value to somebody and their program. If they say, hey, you're coming here and, we can take care of you academically, that opens up space for somebody that might not have the academics to come on in and come in on the athletic scholarship.
Right. That's a good answer. My second question was, how does your team incorporate the Catholic values and principles into both their soccer performance and their interactions off the field?
Well, what's important to us, kind of our mantra, our verse is Matthew 23:12. For the humble will be exalted and the exalted will be humbled. And people say, well, what does that necessarily mean? Well, it just kind of encompasses, can you put your pride and ego and everything else first and be there for your teammates? So another saying we have is play for each other.
Right.
That's one of our big hashtags is nobody's perfect. People are going to make mistakes. And the question is, are you going to be a good teammate and are you going to pick them up and help them when needed? And also just, be God's light in this world. You try to explain to people you can be faithful, but at the same time serve the Lord and play extremely hard on the field as he's blessed you with talents and God wants you to be able to showcase your talents. But there's a certain way you can do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
My question, so last season was a big season for the girls and for you. What is your most memorable moment or moments from that?
Well, we kind of had a few. In the beginning of the season, it was when the girls beat Fairhope. That was the first time they've beaten Fairhope. Later on in the season, with the hurdle was getting past the second round of the playoffs. So we were fortunate and blessed. We played Trinity, and Maddie Key scored the game-winning goal in second overtime with literally under 30 seconds left, right before you go to penalty kicks. And the feeling to see the girls achieve that hurdle and accomplish something that hasn't been accomplished before is just, I watch that clip over and over and over just to watch them sprint on that field and be there for each other and genuinely show the love and the care that they have for each other. Watching them hang out, and I still have the picture, where everybody's, posing for the Final Four, just the camaraderie. And, but one of the big things, too, that really stands out is you talk about forming bonds and friendships and camaraderie are the bus rides there, like getting a charter bus and first round going to Montgomery Catholic. You get the win, then you come back and you get to ride the bus back and you get to share these experiences and memories, and then you do it again for the Trinity game. And that's one thing I've said, since we're getting transportation, that it's hard a lot of times if you have people taking cars and you have 2 people in 10 cars driving somewhere. Everybody's kind of separated and isolated. But one of the biggest things, and I told them this, is that you will remember and you will cherish these bus rides home. That, and then my wife texted me to say, will you please quit dancing because you're on Instagram and Snap and everything. So those are probably the biggest takeaways, was just the joy, knowing how much work that these young ladies put in, because we do ask them to put in a lot in the way that we train, and then to see it implemented and executed, and at the end of the day, the reward and just the joy to watch them grow and mature from November until, the middle of May.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you noticed that they are really happy, but do you feel the same way whenever that goal, how'd that make you feel as a coach?
Well, as a coach, you're thrilled because I've had a lot of different experiences coaching, but to this time around enjoy it and not be so worried about what can I do better or what can we do better as a team. I told myself when I took this job, I'll do these kind of things, but I'm really going to enjoy this ride around. Just the satisfaction and the joy of watching them do what they do and be successful.
Yeah. So what are your goals for this team or individual players for this season, like the next games, short-term, long-term, outside of high school?
Well, I think that, one thing we always try to do is we don't compare teams from teams before, just because it's a new season and technically there are a lot of returning players, but it's new players that have been integrated, new players that have showed up and arrived. I think our biggest goal is to continually work on what can we improve. One thing I always say is, don't forget that we are ambassadors of St. Michael Catholic High School, have players from Christ the King, St. Benedict, St. Patrick, but you're also ambassadors of your parish, the archdiocese. So when you're out and about, just being who you are, and being God's light in this world. And then when it comes to soccer, what can we do as a team? How can we help each other? How can we improve? One thing that I really enjoyed was the fact that we had a ton of students go on the March for Life. And to me, that's very important because I'm a big advocate for the right for life. And sometimes there are things far more greater than soccer.
Yeah.
And to hear that from me, and I'm all in, but there are bigger things in life. And that brings me joy when we have people who are out serving and leading and believing in a cause that reflects our faith.
Yeah. So you want the girls to work hard. So what have you done preseason to get them in shape for this season, and how's that affecting them now? Have you noticed it's helping?
Well, I think the thing that you want to incorporate is when you start a preseason program, you have to remember it's a marathon. We work on a lot of agility, quick 5-10 yards, how fast can we get there, explosive stuff. conditioning as well. But our program is set up so our players will be fresh at the end of March, the middle of April. You know, we don't want to be tired the first week in March and, you know, having spent all of our energy with hopefully, you know, 2.5 months left to go. But the big takeaway is, you know, just getting people to buy in and believe in your system and do what you ask them to do. And, you know, we like to work on explosive stuff. We play fast. We're a fast team. And we're all about, you know, how fast we can get there and first to the ball.
Yeah. So specifically for the game tonight, what have you done? Have you, like, looked at how Daphne plays or?
Well, yeah, actually, as soon as we finish this interview, I'm riding down to watch Daphne play at 2 o'clock down at the Southern Shootout. I've got a little bit of video on them we've watched. I do try to prepare game to game if video is available, but I will watch in person and be able to make a few notes before we play tonight.
Yeah. All right, my last question. What are you looking forward to for the future of the program in general?
I think the biggest takeaway will be the culture that we build and establish. As we have a new wave of players coming in every year, it's important for the 7th graders, you know, these people to see how we do things inside the program and follow that as they grow and mature and get up into high school when the new wave comes in and, okay, this is how we do it. We don't do things like that, but we do it like this. It's important to set the culture for the future.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And development as well. I'm big on development of players.
Yeah. Anything?
Hi, Coach BD. It's Baylor.
Hello.
And my question for you is, how do you develop sportsmanship on your team, and how do you really make sure that that shines through on the field?
Well, I think a lot of times the players take on the persona of the coach and the personality of the coach. And if you know me, I am intense and I do ask for a lot of things, but also try to remind them if something happens, so what? What's next? Let's move on to the next thing. And as hard as it is to, you know, try not to have these things come back up, you always want to focus on being present, being in the moment. What can I do now? And you got to have a short memory. I can't worry about what happened here. But if it's something positive, I can take that and build on it. But also is winning and losing graciously. It's hard. It's hard. And a lot of times in order to succeed, you have to fail. And, yeah, a lot of times people don't want to shake hands and do this. But you know what? It's hard, but you got to be God's light in this world and set an example and have your players do the same.
Yes, of course.
All right, well, that was the interview here with the girls soccer coach, Coach Beatty. It was very nice having you here today. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And that was the Wild Cardinal Network. We're wrapping up here today. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.